Illini fans, it is game week. It is episode 5 of the Armchair Illini podcast, and couldn't be happier to have you aboard. We have 175 YouTube subscribers. Like, share, and subscribe for more Illini content. We're going to have some awesome videos once the Illini season gets going. I'll be up in Champaign doing some man on the street kind of interviews and stuff with Illini fans. So be on the lookout for that and more exclusive content for Illini fans like yourselves. Want to give a quick shout out to our first sponsor, which is Hamilton Walker's. Illini fans, the Armchair Illini podcast is fired up to team with Hamilton Walker's Seafood and Spirits, hands down the best dining experience in Champaign, Urbana. We're talking prime steaks, fresh seafood, and a vibe that's perfect after a big Illini win. And here's the game changer. Every single home game, we're giving away a $100 Hamilton Walker's gift card on our social media. That's right, dinner on us. Follow Armchair Illini and Hamilton Walker's on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter to get in on the action and experience Hamilton Walker's, where Champaign Urbana comes to celebrate. On today's episode, we have Courtney Brewer from WCIA 3. Courtney, how are things in Champaign? I know that camp has wrapped up. We are in game week. We are just a couple days away from Western Illinois. What's the vibe in Champaign around this Illini football program?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. Camp officially wrapped up last week, and energy is high here in town. I can only speak to the one season that I've been here, but from what I understand, energy hasn't been this high in several years, and folks are really excited to take the field on Friday.
Yeah, I mean, this is a program that I have been a part of in terms of the Jeremy Warner show back in the day. And back then it was, where does Illinois fit in the Big Ten? There was no thought of, how does Illinois compare against Ole Miss, or how does Illinois compare against Alabama
Right.
of all teams? Now it's the expectations are rising. How has Brett Bielema kind of dealt with that in your conversations with him?
It really seems like he is doing a good job of tuning all that out. Anyone can say that. Any coach can say that. But when you're looking at somebody like Brett Bielema, who's had the career that he has had as his 17th year as a head coach in college football, that's not counting his time in the NFL. That's not counting his time as assistants. He's been around. He's been in the SEC. He's been in the Big Ten. When he says that he's tuning out the outside noise, I believe him. And I believe that he's doing what he can. In the digital age, there's only so much you can do. What he can to minimize that in his room and make sure his guys aren't feeding into that.
How has the team kind of reacted to that sentiment of Brett Bielema?
They're excited, but you remember last year, everything was 1-0 mentality. I think we're carrying that into this year too. They're all aware that they're number 12. They're all aware that they have to face the national champions again on their field. But when you bring back this many returners and you bring back this many guys with college football playing experience, you've got a mature group on the field and off the field. So,
what are some of the bigger weaknesses that Illini fans might be tuning out because of the orange and blue Kool-Aid they've been drinking?
Sure. Well, something Glenn Kenley and I have been talking about a lot is not looking so much as weaknesses, but question marks, because you can't say anything until we get this team on the field. So in our show that we did, our biggest question marks were wide receivers room and some other things. But wide receiver is your number one question. How do you go about replacing 60% of your scoring that you lose in Zachary Franklin and obviously Pat Bryant? That's the big question mark here. But I think we've seen a lot of sparkles in camp out of the wide receiver room. You look at a guy like Malik Elzy, who's paid his dues here and has continued to show out. And then you look at these two guys like Hank Beatty and Colin Dixon, who have continued to be at the top of that list, both getting reps on returning, both getting exciting reps on returning, and both really ready to get back in this swing of things. Another guy that I have my eye on, let me make sure. Yeah, Justin Bowick comes with Mike New out of Ball State. I've gotten to know him over the last couple of weeks, and I think he can be really promising. But I think, when you lose those two names, immediately you want to pull the fire alarm. But I don't think it's necessary.
There's always intrigue on the new guys in the room. How has Hudson Clement kind of integrated into that wide receiver room in Champaign?
I think it's been pretty seamless. He's not the guy that we're sitting here talking about firsthand. Sure. not everyone can be, but it seems to me that it has been a very seamless transition, especially when you look at the fact that there's 5 sets of brothers on this team. That's something I've not dealt with in my years of covering college football. So the transition for him has been pretty easy. And I think when you've got a room this deep and this diverse, you can't rule anybody out in any situation.
The stability on the player side of things is one thing, but I think something that's not been talked about enough is the stability of the coordinators. When you both have the offensive coordinator, Barry Lunny, coming back, and you have Aaron Henry coming back on the defensive coordinator side, how have the players reacted on just being able to breathe easy and just learn instead of have extreme upheaval like some other programs might have?
Yeah, I completely agree with you there. But if I can also say, I think it's even more of your support staff. Corey Parker has jumped off the page. Corey Parker is invaluable, will go down as one of the best staffing hires at Illinois in the modern era. Then you look on the offensive side of the ball, Art Zatowski is recruiting like a beast while managing a guy with as much hype as Luke Altmeyer. You look at Justin Stepp, who has a big job to undertake and is ready for it. So I think you can't just look at the coordinators. You have to talk about those guys, but what you get back from those coordinators is incredible, especially when you think about, early in the season we spoke to Aaron Henry, and he said that he may not have been ready to take over that role last year before. Still really finding his footing. He's not that old. He's got young kids. He's probably still feels like he could be playing. To watch him grow in his role and figure out these things when he's supported by such a strong group of returners / guys that have experience, I think that's crucial. And I think Barry Lunny and Aaron Henry are, there are programs where the head coach is the face. I think it is a very, obviously Brett Bielema, and then I think it is very close, those two guys, what they contribute and what they are perceived to contribute to this team.
Looking at the stories of the individuals on this team, what stories stuck out to you throughout your time talking to these guys at training camp? Like, it was a unique story that you're just like, I can't believe I get to tell this story.
This is so easy, but Luke Altmeyer is where you got to start. Those of us who have been with this program for a minute have seen him evolve as a person. Obviously, everyone in the world has seen him evolve on the field. We have seen him become so much more confident on the field, so much more confident off the field, such a better leader, such a better mentor and friend. That's something I'm really intrigued by. But with my Central Illinois bias, when you look at these two guys like Caden Fagan and Aiden Loffrey, these two guys who get misty if they talk for too long about how they're playing, literally for the towns they grew up in. They are wearing the orange and blue on their shirt every day. To have those guys get to tell their story is one of my favorite stories I've gotten to tell this season. I'm also, to go back, very intrigued by all the brothers on the team. I just think that's so cool. One of my very first forays into sports was when Kentucky basketball had the Harrison twins.
Oh, yeah.
And so I always love when there's an extra added element like that. And then I think another big story I'm intrigued by, this isn't a specific guy, but there is so much talent and personality in the DB room, which you're going to have when you're led by Corey Parker. But anytime we have an opportunity to talk to Torrey Cox, or Jaheim Clark, any of these guys, obviously the Scots, their stories, they're all great guys, and they're all just stupid and will be stupid this season.
I mean, it is pretty incredible the DB run that Illinois has had when you talk Kirby Joseph and Quan Martin and Devin Witherspoon. And that's tough to live up to if you don't have that swagger. And I think Corey Parker has definitely brought in that extra burst of mentality for some of these younger guys. And it's very exciting to watch. Who knew that Illinois would be DBU in the Big Ten with the likes of Ohio State and Michigan and now Oregon into the fold?
And I think, at least from my perception, it seems like these young guys that are coming in, for example, Zanai Scott, he has Xavier, but he's still new. I have gotten the impression that guys who have come out of this program and gone on to play DB in the league are still active and reaching out to these teams. Even though they didn't play for Corey Parker, even though they may not have played for Brett Bielema, they are still involved in the lives of the guys who are wearing the black eye every Saturday. And that goes in many positions, but I've heard it a lot in the DB room.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fraternity for sure.
It is.
With those guys, it feels like. Look, speaking of fraternity, there was a group of Wisconsin guys that moved to Champaign. What do you anticipate the guys from Wisconsin coming into Champaign?
I think that's a really exciting extra spice this year, especially since you go to Wisconsin this year. That is the transfer portal world. We're seeing that across the country, but it definitely adds, especially when you go back to, I mean, Brett Bielema wasn't just another coach in Madison. His legacy there was something that probably drew those guys to Madison in the first place. So to have them here with their Big Ten playing experience, with their experience of college life and life on the road, and balancing a room and balancing who gets playing time, I think that's invaluable. The fact that it's Big Ten, the fact that it's Wisconsin just adds to that.
We're talking with Courtney Brewer from WCIA. Want to interrupt this for just a quick second. The Armchair Illini Podcast is pumped to team up with Campus Inc.'s official Illinois NIL store to get officially licensed gear from your favorite Illini stars, Luke Altmeyer, Terrence Shannon Jr., Kofi Coburn, and more. Support your favorite athletes and rep the orange and blue. Use code Armchair Illini for 15% off today. So let's move.
One of my best friends, CEO over at Campus Inc.
Oh, really? That's amazing. That adds a little fold to this. Thank you.
Like, all right.
So let's talk about that quarterback, Luke Altmeyer. I know he had a chance to move to Tennessee with the transfer of Nico Amalivia. I butchered that name. I apologize, Nico. There we go. Thank you. I appreciate that, Courtney.
My best friend went to UT and works in Knoxville, so I've heard it 1,000 times over the last year, and so I had to have her give me a tutorial. That's the only reason I know how to say it.
Yeah, I mean, it was like a Big Ten fans when Georgie Bashanishvili came to town, and
me and I had to learn how to say that for the first time on TV a few months ago. It wasn't fun.
It is not.
Right now.
I did a YouTube tutorial video on how to say the name whenever he first signed. It's crazy. So Luke Altmeyer, obviously amazing story of what he's gone through. Starting off, it was a little bit of a rough patch in the orange and blue, but has grown into that role time and time again whenever Illinois needed it. Now that expectations are nationwide, how has Luke kind of evolved into being that true leader of the team and to be just the guy on campus more than any Illini football player has in a long time? It's a basketball school, and now it's Luke Altmeyer's university, which is crazy to say.
Yeah, I maintain, and I don't say this from a place of like true, I haven't been told this by Luke, by anyone in the staff, but I am of the firm belief that while he may have been contacted by schools like Tennessee, other power programs, I am not of the belief that he ever really didn't think he was going to be here next year. The way we've spoken to Luke, the end of last season, through bowl prep and during the spring, I never thought that was going to be a possibility. That is my opinion. I do not know that as fact. What I do know as fact is that every single person on that roster knows that he is the man. Even the guys who have never been on the field with him at the same time and never will be on the field. I spoke to him one of the earliest press conferences we had with him this season. He and Xavier Scott are locker mates, like they're right next to each other. And I was asking, what is your relationship with each other? This was before they were going out to Vegas. And he said, well, we're locker mates, so we're constantly interacting, but we also both have been here and led this program. So I think, and listen, you're talking to somebody who was working in Baton Rouge during the Joe Burrow era. Having a name and a talent and a magnetism like that is invaluable for a program. To have someone like him as your face, who is that talented, that kind, that smart, knows what he's doing, is a good guy, is huge for just your perception of the program on a national level. It can be a guy at any position, but when it's your quarterback, that is just elevating how you guys are perceived on Saturday mornings on College Game Day, throughout the week by people, by talking heads. Having a guy like Luke is getting your name in their mouth.
You mentioned LSU. I got to ask this real quick. What was it like being on campus during that LSU renaissance of Livy Dunn, Paul Skeens, Joe Burrow, Angel Reese?
I missed I graduated in December of 2020, so I missed Livy's first semester on campus was my last semester on campus. So I missed
Okay.
her. I missed Skeens, and I missed Angel Reese, which sucked as a women's sports fan. But being there for the Ed Ogeron, Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow, Jay Jettas, like it's why I am continuing to work in this industry 5 years later. It was incredible. I'm not from Louisiana, but I had family down there, so to see the state represented on a national level, and now to watch those guys every Sunday, it's NFLSU. So it was amazing. I'm very grateful. I haven't been back. I was just telling somebody this morning, I haven't been back since I graduated, which like breaks my heart, but it is an incredible town. It's an incredible atmosphere, and I am so proud to be an LSU grad.
So for spinning this back into Champaign, you've seen national expectations year in, year out for as an LSU grad. What advice can you give to Illini fans on how to deal with that national perception and having expectations and everything for a school that hasn't really had that in a long time?
That's a good question because I also get a little superstitious about these things. When I was at LSU, whenever we were ranked number one, I like wouldn't sleep that week because I don't want to let us do it on the field and show you, don't rank us number one. All I can say to Illini fans is to truly just focus on one game at a time. And I know that's easier said than done, trust me. But all you can do is this game in front of you. You have the talent, you have the staff, you have the energy around this program. I mean, Western Michigan is sold out. What do you mean Western Michigan is sold out? All my love to, I don't remember what their mascot is.
The Broncos.
I knew it. I almost said Cowboys. All my love to the Broncos. Western Michigan is sold out. You have it on paper for this to be an incredible season. Enjoy every second of it.
Do you have a prediction? It might not be a record prediction, or what is your like bold prediction for the U of I football season this upcoming year?
Bold prediction? I think when you look at the trio of Indiana, Ohio State, and USC, most people are going to say you only walk away with one of those games. I'm going to say you're going to walk away with two. I can't tell you which ones they are. We all saw the magic that came into play last season here at Memorial Stadium, but special things can happen on the road as well. I don't think anyone would agree with me, but I think you can get two of those wins, especially with the way they fall on the calendar. You'll be coming off that Western Michigan sellout going into Indiana. So I think it's very feasible to get two of those. And if you only get one, that's amazing. Gotta just roll with it.
Yeah, I mean, that's two losses, and that might be your only two losses if you can avoid the trip hazard that is Seattle, Washington. I mean,
sure. And that's going to be difficult. That is one that I'm not going to group in with those games because you're on the road, you're coming off a bye week, and you're going there. But when you look at those three games that happen all within 4 weeks of each other, I think it's very feasible.
Yeah, I like that prediction too because I mean USC was terrible on the road last year. Indiana, you don't know what you're truly getting with some of the returning production in Champaign. I mean in Bloomington, pardon me, and then Ohio State. That's probably not going to happen more than likely, but the Illabuck brings some magic
We've all
occasionally.
seen stranger things happen as college football fans. Can't rule anything out.
Absolutely. Courtney, what is the WCIA 3's news coverage going to look like for this Illini football season?
A whole lot. We had our kickoff special last night, which can go back and watch both on our smart TV app and on our website. We have pregame shows, 90 minutes to kick off every single game, as well as postgame. We carry Brett Bielema's postgame remarks. We'll have coverage all season long. I can go ahead and tell you I will be the one manning the ship this Friday as Illinois takes on Western Illinois. I'll be there ready to give you your postgame report and then wrapping it all up Sundays, all season long on Sunday Sport Trap.
Courtney, I want to thank you for your time and joining the Armchair Illini podcast. Absolutely. We'd love to have you back. Thank you so much for joining us and have a great college football season. We look forward to seeing your coverage.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
And this has been the Armchair Illini podcast. That was Courtney Brewer of WCIA 3. Like, share, and subscribe on YouTube. Follow us at Armchair Illini on social medias and follow me on Twitter at AB1132. This has been the Armchair Illini podcast. I'm Austin Berkland, ILL, I&I.